It is a tough time to be a bear in this market. On today's show, we are going to be looking at the latest in what has been a green start to the day. Tech is pumping, crypto a little bit flat, but boy, it is rough if you are shorting this market. Before we get going, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Nothing Kevin or I say is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We're a few guys who follow the markets, place our bets. So do your own research before making your own buys and sells. Kev, we saw a little bit of data this morning around the producer price index. Nothing too earth shattering. However, it is hurting the strength of the dollar, which is absolutely bleeding. It's struggling to stay above 100 right now. We see a volatility index that is barely over 13 at this point. Tech is ripping. We have the S&P approaching a 4,500 key level. We have the NASDAQ only 8% away from all-time highs. It is rough if you are bearish on this market.
Yeah, it's really insane. It's almost kind of infuriating too, because again, we're looking at a market that's so overbought, but it can stay like this for a period of time. And we're just getting data that's hurting the dollar, which in turn hurts risk assets. And you and I were talking about obviously a lot of short sellers being squeezed. They got to buy back that stock, which in turn brings the stock price up again as they buy in. So this could go on for some period of time. It's a really hard time to navigate this market, especially if you're sitting on the sidelines. And I think you and I were talking about also institutional FOMO and a lot of other FOMO that we're seeing pile in, which is just making it so much worse of a situation. Which does this mean that we're in a bubble? I honestly believe we are, but again, that doesn't mean that we're in a bubble that's going to pop today. No, maybe it pops in October, maybe it pops, next year, first quarter. We don't really know at this point. And it's a really dangerous time to be shorting the market. Again, $96 billion worth of short sellers got capitulated the last month alone. This is an absolute insane place to be in this market. And, it's just really dangerous. Again, another green day. It's like, what else is new? And it's the best part is it's as Jim Cramer calls it, the magnificent
seven.
Yeah. I don't call it that. Those are the 7 stocks of the apocalypse, because when those do burst, I mean, nothing else is holding up this market, right? So, he says that that's the play right now. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't really listen to Jim. He might be a financial advisor, but he's not my financial advisor.
Hey, you want to know about Jim? Let's talk about a few of these tech stocks. Let's talk about Meta, which is now up to $312 a share. Back in October, when Jim Cramer on TV cried about, the fact that he felt deceived by Meta, the stock was at $100.10 a share. That's a nice little 200% return. If you look at Nvidia, when Jimbo told you to start shorting it at $150 a share, now at a new all-time high of $447, another 200% increase from what Jimbo said. So I don't really think that he's in a position to say anything. Like you mentioned, we've been discussing for a while, and it's been all over the place. If you pay attention to a lot of these money managers, what they say on TV, you can see in their faces and hear in their voices that they're getting a lot of shit from their, if they've been risk off since last year, they're getting a lot of shit from their, customers, their clients, that they haven't been in this market. And so now we're seeing the squeeze on short sellers. We're seeing people, whether it was yesterday's CPI data, whether it's the fact that we're probably nearing the end of this rate hiking cycle, they are FOMOing back into the market because they don't want to have to continue to tell their clients that they're in fixed income while equities have been on an absolute tear. So I definitely think this could be part of that. This institutional FOMO, this money managers having to get their clients a better return than they could be if they're just sitting getting 5%, which is dangerous, right? It's one of those situations where if these people are putting their money back into the market based purely on FOMO and not technicals and fundamentals, exactly, that could be a really bad place to be in, 6 months from now. Does this rally have the legs to keep it up through the end of the year? I mean, maybe.
We don't know, right?
In TradFi, it sure as shit seems like it. We saw a brutal sell-off for most of last year, from about November of 2021 until November of 2022. It was a rough sell-off, and it was definitely oversold, but now it's getting right back to overbought. So it's like,
it's overbought completely.
Do you just keep letting it ride until, fall, or do you think that we're going to continue to see like a Santa rally through the end of the year? This is where trading is just absolutely brutal, and you can get decimated if you're not willing, if you're one of these people who sells some shares and you're not comfortable like with the time horizon of letting things play out and potentially buying back in at a lower price, it's going to be a rough time for you mentally. So it's tough out there if you're trying to trade this market, which is one of the many reasons I am not a trader. We can talk about Nvidia if we want. We can talk about the news around Polygon or Celsius on the crypto side. There is quite a bit to discuss. We're probably not going to be doing a lot of charting today because we did that yesterday afternoon. Where do you want to go from here, Kev?
Let's keep it with TradFi. Let's look at Nvidia. It's again another all-time high after hours yesterday, and
all-time high right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, who the hell is selling Nvidia? It's a joke. I'm sorry, Joe. It's a joke, but yeah, it's just fucking insane right now with Nvidia.
Keeping up with this week's shows, I did on Monday decide to go ahead and sell a third of my Nvidia position, which it was only a third. It could have been worse. I'm happy to see the rest of it go up for my portfolio.
Profit.
At about $4.19 a share when I sold, and now it's at almost $4.49 a share a few days later. So that's neat. But this is moving today because there's been a lot of news around Nvidia. We have the ARM IPO. So for those who don't remember, last year Nvidia tried acquiring ARM, which is a chip designer owned by SoftBank, for $66 billion. That acquisition was shot down. There's a lot of antitrust concerns, a lot of monopolistic concerns around that. So now Nvidia is in talks with them to be a big investor in their IPO. Nothing like, for how much they're trying to raise, I think Nvidia is like a few $100 million. But that just showed, continues to show the market that Nvidia is viewed as like the top of the top because ARM is so desperate for them. They also made that $50 million investment into Recursion, a clinical stage tech bio company. They are, Recursion is kind of building some AI foundation models for biology and chemistry, and they're going to be using Nvidia's cloud services to distribute that to biotech companies around the world. So those are just a few of the things that are leading to this bullish sentiment around Nvidia. I think people, the AI craze is still out there in a big way. Like so much of Nvidia's betting big on AI. And if this is a dirty AI bubble, like we saw in the .com bubble, like a lot of companies did survive and thrived. Could Nvidia be one of those? I think they're positioned to like probably the most likely if this is an AI bubble. I don't think AI is going anywhere. We've gone too far down the rabbit hole. So I'm not as concerned as Kevin is with the AI bubble in Nvidia. Like if it pops, yes, it's going to go down. Like I'm not saying it's going to go the other way and it's going to rocket up while everything else crashes, but I'm not as concerned long term. So that's kind of what's driving Nvidia right now. If we look on the daily, I mean, they're up almost $10 a share, 2.25% right now, approaching a $450 per share price. Market cap over 1.1 trillion now. I mean, they're at like the same market cap as all of crypto. If we want to look at that, it's absolutely wild seeing Nvidia. I know you got your different, Elliott wave or Charlie wave or whoever the hell it is. But yeah, Nvidia is on an absolute moon mission. Headed straight to outer space.
Yeah, man. It's just Nvidia is kicking ass. I can't deny it. This AI bubble is absolutely insane. It's on the news yesterday that there's now potentially not Nvidia, but AI. There's robots that are going to be helping people with loneliness, and I'm like, it's insane how much AI has developed within the past 6 months. Like, what's the next thing? What's going to be the bubble burst? Is it going to be like a love doll AI or something? I don't know. It seems like we're heading down that path, but it's absolutely insane to see Nvidia just shooting up again today, 448. We built some gaps on the way up. They have to be coming down at some point. I do think Nvidia is going to be fine though. Like if we look at the .com bubble, we look at Amazon, we look at Microsoft. A lot of those stocks obviously took a pretty damn good hit. However, look at them today. They're right back where they are, even higher, and they're at the top of the market holding up everything, right? Amazon and Microsoft are two of the biggest ones that are part of that Magnificent Seven that Jim Cramer likes. Nvidia, I think, is one that's going to be fine throughout whatever is coming, but it's definitely going to see some, correction going forward. Again, when does that start? that remains to be seen, because this thing has been absolutely on a tear. And, if people are shorting it, it's just going to keep going up higher. So you kind of need the short sellers to die. You need the FOMO to kick in to the extent where everyone's kind of bullish. Maybe I should just be bullish right here, right? Maybe everyone, all the market makers are watching our show right now, and they'll just say, all right, now we can dump it. But for the most part, I think this thing is just, it's on its way, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's not, doesn't show a whole lot of signs of slowing down. That can't happen forever. I mean, I'm just looking at this weekly chart, and it is absolutely incredible what we have seen since October of last year. Let me see here. You talk for a second. I'm going to do a little bit of counting.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up just so everyone can see it too. It's on the weekly chart. It's, I mean, look at this. Look at that. That's insane, man. Come on. Are we entering the bear market now? Like, this was just a small little bull market correction. You know what I mean? This is insane to be seeing all-time highs right now when you look at crypto and it's far off from its all-time highs. You're seeing only a few stocks absolutely, near or hit all-time highs. I saw Morgan Stanley yesterday anticipate that the S&P is going to hit all-time highs by the end of the year. That's their, prediction. And here's the thing with price predictions. I don't fucking like them. When in a bear market, there's a lot of history that tells us, okay, where's our support? Where's our resistance? It's a lot, we can calculate exactly, see where price could potentially go to. In a bull market, everyone's just throwing out numbers just so whoever likes that number is willing to follow them. But this right here, I can't give you a price prediction. I won't. I really don't know where Nvidia's price is going. On the way down, I can tell you where there is gaps that are likely to be filled. And, that might be the more realistic approach to it. This is just 100% FOMO, in my opinion. I mean, this is, let's do the math. Let's go from the bottom of this to this. It's up 309% on the year. And the weird thing to me is on the weekly stochastic RSI, it's coming down. It's in the midway for Nvidia. So, I mean, this thing could go up again a little bit more if the momentum's there. It's absolutely insane, man. Let's look at the monthly. Monthly is completely overbought. This thing does need to correct, but where does it correct to? Who knows? Who fucking knows in a market like this? They might just hold this thing up to the end of time. But again, everything does need a correction in this market. That's why we have technical analysis. It's just a matter of waiting for that to happen. The monthly charts are absolutely insane. It's been green since January, and that's insane. That's insane. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm looking at Meta right now. Meta has been in the overbought territory since December of last year. On their week, now it's on the weekly. I think they've had 24 green weeks out of the last 34 that I'm looking at. So that's pretty insane ratio right there. Once again, they were overbought for not too long, or oversold. I mean, they were only in the oversold territory for about 2 weeks in late 2022, and they pushed up, and they've been overbought from December until now. And so at some point, how long can they really? I'm going back historically, and this is the longest they've been in the overbought territory by a wide margin since they IPO'd. So pretty crazy what is happening with Meta. I still don't get it. Is this because Zuckerberg is, into MMA now? Is that what's driving the value here? Because I haven't, are new people signing up for Facebook? Are a lot of people using Threads? Is Instagram really that hot at the moment? I'm not sure.
Let me say this about Threads. This is the thing that pissed me off with Threads. They say it was, the fastest growing platform ever for people signing up and new users. Yeah, no shit. They already had everyone from fucking Instagram. All you had to do was press a button, and then guess what? You got a Threads account. It's not like you had to do much. I mean, you pretty much just migrated everyone over to a new product from the same product. It's a derivative, right? And that to me doesn't make fucking Facebook or Meta worth $313 per share. This is absolutely insane. There's nothing that Meta's done that seems bullish in any way. I remember how much money they lost in the fucking metaverse, and they changed their entire company name to Meta. So am I bullish on these fuckers? No, not one bit. I actually really want to see when their earnings come out for Q2, because I don't think they made any money.
I think that's next Wednesday.
They didn't make shit. I'm calling it here.
I'll double check.
I'm calling bullshit right now.
I think that's 26th. I think 26 is a big day because that's going to be the next Fed meeting. That is going to be, let me take a look.
Because these earnings are everything right now, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think they are, because we're looking at a market where the inflation's coming down, right? Every number, every metric is saying that it's coming down. PPI is coming down, and the market is absolutely insane where it is. We could see absolute divergence if earnings come in way lower than expected. Like, again, Samsung said that they lost 96% in profit in the second half of the quarter. Second quarter of this year, 96% down from where they were in Q1. So I really don't believe that this market is sustainable. I don't think it's rational right now. I think a lot of it is FOMO, like we've talked about. But these earnings, they come back and they're not great. Well, maybe that's what starts to correct, and maybe some reality sets in. It's like, okay, even if the economy's getting better, people aren't buying. These companies are not profitable. What does that say about consumers going forward into the end of the year? That's the one thing I'm keeping an eye on.
We got a few earnings. Today is the beginning of earnings season. Nothing gigantic, but Pepsi, which is a good indicator of consumer prices. We also got Delta, which is kind of showing us how people are people traveling a lot. What is that going to look like? Is that another leader of inflation? Like, airline prices are getting pretty crazy again. And then tomorrow, like you said, is the big day with a lot of financial earnings. We got JP Morgan, we got BlackRock, we got Citigroup. It is going to be, and I think all of those report in the morning. I got to double check. I think all of those report tomorrow morning, like before the markets open. So that should definitely be impactful there. Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. Like we discussed yesterday, Goldman has already kind of laid the foundation that their earnings aren't going to come in great. So I think BlackRock is going to be fine. JP Morgan, they were upgraded to a buy by a bunch of analysts yesterday, so they should be fine as well. Is there anything, we can briefly touch on Polygon? They've seen a 5% move up today on news that they are going to be migrating over from Matic to Pol. POL is going to be their token. They're going to be able to swap over to that. It should have like more utility. I don't know. I haven't dove too deep into it. I just know that they recently let go of one of their higher level execs. So is this news, just to save face there and try to reinstill some confidence in people? It seems like it could be. I've been considering, I have a Polygon position. Do I just like close that out? Do I just swap it over to Bitcoin and just like let it sit there, which has more upside long term? I would like to say, based on valuations and what we've seen in the past, that Polygon has more upside long term, if it goes to $5 versus if Bitcoin goes to 120K, but not really sure.
Yeah, ever since the CEO, switch up, I think they did that mainly because the price obviously is coming down while everything else is going up. I think a lot of people lost faith in Matic and a lot of the utility that it's offering. Obviously, things like Arbitrum and stuff like that are also giving it a run for its money. Is what it is. I think that we're just in a bear market. So price coming down after, going up when everything else was going down, it was due for a correction, right? Everything corrects at some point. When I look at Matic right now, I think that first off, Pol is a terrible name for a ticker. I'd rather it just stay Matic, like it's fine. But yeah, we're looking at this here, and we're trading in this channel. I think this could be one of two things. I see it as a parallel channel just because we hit this wick up here. I hope it doesn't go up to here. I mean, that would be a pain in the ass, right? That just means that we're prolonging the inevitable. It means that there's probably going to be a drop from there down. And we know how parallel channels and Matic work. So I'm going to actually delete this for the time being, just so we could see what the other thing it could potentially be. It could possibly be, what this is called an ascending triangle. And it's very similar to a parallel channel. It just means that you're tightening up the higher you get. And if we look on the daily, we're extremely overbought, right? That's no surprise considering that we're up 50% since that drop on June 10th. The price of Matic is absolutely up 50%. We're at 76 cents right now. We shot up a pretty good amount today. I think we're up about 5.05%. So, I mean, this thing is absolutely taking off. We're at, we got the 50 moving average right here. We got that support and resistance line right here between 74 and 76 cents. Could it go up more? Sure, absolutely. It could break out of this. But, majority of the time, these things do tend to break to the downside. And I do think that, this origin at 50 cents, there's a reason why we hit that and found support. maybe that's just we're stuck between support and resistance, the new support and resistance that we're going to see from Matic. So when I see this price pushing up off this news, and I really don't know when Polygon 2.0 is being rolled out. I think it's pretty soon from the article I read today. But this might just be the buy the rumor, sell the news type of event, where that's going to be the break of this channel. I don't necessarily think that this is revolutionary, game changing for the the industry right now. Very similar to Meta and a lot of other things. Does Matic doing this really change anything in the bear market if we know it's going to go lower? Or is this like a one-off, tradable event where they're just going to try and make some money? Traders, obviously. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. I really don't think any crypto for the time being has any utility when we're sitting on the cusp of a bubble and, TradFi. And, if there's no money going around and everything just bleeds out, then obviously, consumers, people that are willing to put their money into some of these investments might not do it. And again, we have to remember the SEC is considered Matic and security, right? So I don't think institutional money is going to come in. I could be wrong. Maybe they're just, counter trading everyone. But I think that this is a pretty small pump compared to what we saw with BNB the other day, where it shot up, that fast in such a short period of time. This might just be retail getting excited. It might be. And again, we're at the end of a move. And unfortunately, retail does like to time the market in the worst possible way. So I think that this right here is offering a perfect opportunity to break from it. Could it go up a little bit more? Absolutely. But I don't really have any faith in Matic for the time being when you're putting in either a parallel channel or this ascending triangle going up. Just seems to these break more often than they don't. I mean, we can go through its history, right? Parallel channel there, within the largest parallel channel I've ever seen in my life. This is the history of Matic. So I'm not getting too excited, trying not to stay too worried about it. I mean, I don't like price going up when I know that it should be a lot lower, but it is what it is. Keep an eye on that over the coming days, weeks, maybe the week closes when we start to see some of the correction happen, because 50% is a pretty good return for a lot of people.
Yeah, we can wrap up with some news around Celsius today. Give me the rundown there.
Yeah, Alex Mashinsky, or whatever his name is, he was sued and arrested by the SEC. So, yep. So the cool thing is that Celsius, obviously, they capitulated a while back. They were supposed to be selling off a lot of their altcoins for Bitcoin and Ethereum. But apparently, Celsius Network is banned from trading. They were fined $4.7 billion by the FTC. Pretty interesting news. Again, you and I were talking about this. Do they have $4.7 billion? I don't know if they have that much user assets. I don't think they do. But yeah, they I guess that's kind of bullish for the market. A lot of people are like, yeah, we got one of them. They got Do Kwon. They got everyone. Got it, Sam Bankman-Fried. So I guess everyone's
SBF's they're gonna use this guy as the example and just like quietly let SBF go free and let FTX relaunch their platform. That's just how it's gonna work, right?
Apparently there's some issues with FTX, the FTX 2.0 rolling it out. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's FTT. Let's see what FTT's doing.
I just really don't know why you would use FTX again. Like, even if SBF isn't there, like, why would you why risk it? Like, why have anything to do with that company at all? I know they have new leadership in. I don't give a shit. Like, I wouldn't want to use. I'm not using it. Like, hell no. I got out of there just in time. I am never going back.
You know what we should check? Let's see what Cell Token is doing, because this guy got arrested, right? I don't know. It shot up a few days ago.
Okay.
It's not worth even sharing on the screen. He got arrested. Okay. They owe $4.7 billion. They can't trade anymore. Game's over, guys. Celsius is done. But Gary Gensler refusing to step down. He is gung ho on taking down crypto single-handedly, and he's doing a pretty good job right now. So that's all I got on the Celsius Gary Gensler.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot more than fucking Gary Gensler to bring down crypto. That fucking bum. Anyway, I mean, it could be. Anything's possible. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have not yet, hit some buttons down below. A like, a comment, subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Share us out on social media. We'll be back tomorrow, another recorded video, closing out the week as we get, there's very little news tomorrow, very little news all of next week. So, hey, maybe it's just off to the races ahead of this FOMC meeting. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see some green you know, if we're higher in a couple of weeks than we are right now. But have an awesome rest of your day, everybody. Join us again tomorrow. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.